it's with interest that I read the headline in CTV today, and I quote it. Carney signals he's prepared to fight an election over next week's budget. Why does the Prime Minister, this costly Prime Minister, want a costly election now? Why? Well, the answer is Mark Carney needs a costly election on his costly budget to distract from all of his broken promises. Let's recap them quickly. He promised to have the fastest G7 economy. He promised to have the fastest growing economy in the G7. He's delivered the fastest shrinking economy in the G7. He promised to double home building. Home building is expected now to drop by 13%, according to his own housing agency. He promised he'd be judged by the prices at grocery stores. They're rising twice as fast as the Bank of Canada's target, and 7% more Canadians will go to food banks this year than last. In fact, food prices have risen so much that there's 100% more food bank demand than there was in 2019 before COVID. He promised that he could handle Donald Trump. That's a quote. Another quote, that he would negotiate a win, that he would have a deal by July 21st. No deal, no win, no elbows, no jobs. In fact, President Trump has since doubled tariffs on Canadian goods, and Mr. Carney has now embarrassed all Canadians by apologizing for an ad that he had earlier approved. His weak leadership forced provinces to step up with their own campaigns to reach the Americans, and after they did that, and Mr. Carney approved of it, he then went groveling and offering an apology, with the result being no deal, no wins, and Canadians are losing their jobs. We cannot trust Mark Carney abroad, and we cannot afford him at home. Carney wants to blame all of these broken promises and many more that will become evident over the next several months on a costly election. He wants to claim that the reason he couldn't do any of the things that he promised during the election was because there was yet another election. Let me illustrate the bad faith and the costly approach on which he has been operating. I came to him in good faith, in a spirit of hope, and offered ideas for an affordable budget and an affordable life. I said, Mr. Carney, why don't we get rid of the industrial carbon tax on home builders and farmers so that we can have affordable food and houses, on our steel, aluminum, and cement producers so that they can compete in this trade war? He said no. In fact, he wants to accelerate industrial carbon tax increases, which will drive up inflation further and drive more jobs out of our country. That is the cost of Carney. I said, let's cut taxes on